From our Brevard News family to yours,
we wish you a Merry Christmas.
Welcome to Brevard News, your home for real news in Brevard County. My name is Kevin Jeffrey, your moderator, and Merry Christmas to everyone in our viewing audience. Welcome to our show this week. Our co-host is Katie Delaney, the County Commissioner, Seat District 1 Commissioner. Also, we have Still Bailey, our investigative reporter. In this coming edition of Brevard News, we have Andrew Connor's attempts to turn the narrative away from the violation of the citizens' constitutional rights. Jennifer Jenkins applies for the Brevard County Public Schools as a teacher. Titusville Board and Commissions comes up, and that's postponed, and we'll see what happened there. Also, the County Commission update from the Commissioner in District 1, and we'll have more on that. Also, our kudos of the week coming up as well, and you don't want to miss that. Now, our quote for the week, and it comes from Mark Twain, and he says, "In the beginning of change, the patriot is a scarce man, and brave, and hated, and scorned. When his cause succeeds, the timid join him, and for then it costs them nothing to be a patriot." Does that sound familiar? Now, in this segment, we want to talk about Andrew Connors, who came out this past week, and he's trying to turn the narrative away from the violations of citizens' constitutional rights. And Andrew, that's the real issue. Now, the issue is not all of the other subterfuge that you're engaging in. The issue is the citizens voted 82% to have this put in the charter, and you are not doing it, nor the other council members, the other three people, as I call them, the Judas Four. Show me where I'm wrong on this, Dale.
No, you're not wrong. And this is a constitutional issue. And it seems that the council members and the mayor continue to move away from that discussion and make it about other discussions. Did you see his recently released video this past week?
Unfortunately, I did. But, again, when you listen to that, he's not dealing with real issues. Now, for example, he's not talking about the fact that two judges, he didn't bring that up, did he? That two judges actually voted that the city is wrong and that they should ratify this. And he also didn't deal with the fact that it's the city's job not to do what they're doing. It's their job to ratify. What are you doing? Again, you are saying to the citizens that what they did, that voting doesn't matter. And I mean, that's the real issue here. To me anymore, it's not even about the clean water. That's become secondary. The real issue is, does the citizens of this city, Titusville, have the constitutional right to vote? I mean, is that far-fetched or what?
Absolutely not. This has happened throughout the history of time where citizens have raised up and they decided that they wanted to take an initiative to put something on the ballot. And so, as you said, this is a question of the citizens' constitutional rights. And I think that the city really needs to look at how they're representing the people of Titusville.
Now, he came out and he did this, and it just looked like that he's fumbling all over this whole issue. He didn't seem to be very cognizant of what was actually going on. Am I wrong on that? He didn't seem to be an expert on the issue.
No, it just appeared that he was mimicking talking points that we've heard previously at city council meetings, such as Jolynn Nelson's assumption that activists are going to go around and dam up the entire city and make it flood out. And also the fact that, it was almost like a scare tactic of putting out information like that the city is going to get sued into just complete bankruptcy. And this is the narrative that we've been hearing happen repeatedly for years now from other council members. So it just seemed as though he was mimicking them.
And it's what you see a lot with the kind of argumentation when you don't have any facts or you don't have a leg to stand on, you engage in subterfuge. And so that's what's happening. And so he's trying to go into issues that don't really matter. The real issue is this: do the citizens of Titusville have the right to pass a measure and have it be enacted? Constitutionally, they do, and you are not doing it. The past week's Titusville City Council meeting, there was a lot of interesting things happened at the City Council meeting. And so what jumped out at you, Stale, about the meeting in particular?
So the first thing that stood out to me was that there were several speakers who went up during public comment period and brought up concerns regarding public records. Some records allegedly have gone missing.
So when you say public records, tell us what that means.
So public records are where citizens, it's emails, for instance, that's just an example. It's emails between city council members and their staff. Public records could be documents that tell you more about a project they're doing. It could be budgeting. It's just it's a transparency thing. You can request a lot of information from your public government.
So how do they go missing?
That's a good question. And that was a speaker went up and asked, well, where did these records go? Because previously they told this resident that these public records did not exist. And this isn't the first time. This has been an issue with other citizens saying that allegedly public records have either gone missing, they can't be found. And so there's a big question among residents, and it wasn't just one. Even a city council member, Muskoska, went up and said that she couldn't even get public records.
Okay, so how do we investigate this?
I think that we need to be making public records ourselves and seeing how they're handled.
How does the average citizen, how are they able to put in a request for public records?
So you go to your city clerk. So you go to your city of Titusville, for instance, city clerk, and then you find their email. And then what we do is we email them saying, we're making a public record request for XYZ. The more specific and the less that you do, the better. Mm-hmm. Because if you make it too broad, it can end up being costly.
So if I were to say, I want to find a public record on Scott Larice, whether he got a raise this past year or not, I can do that.
Yes.
And then I will find out, because, by the way, Scott, we haven't heard whether you received that raise or not. The citizens would really like to know that. So I can do that, right?
Yes, you can do that.
And they should be able then to get me that information.
Yes, they should. And you can even request personnel files, which I have done in the past.
All right. So public records, make sure that you make the request that you need. So now we come to this issue of Jennifer Jenkins and Katie. It's really an interesting thing. So she was on the school board. Now she goes, after she gets off the school board, she wants to apply as a speech pathologist in the Brevard public schools. And she doesn't get the job. Now she's angry. She's talking about a lawsuit. What's going on with this?
So there's been a long history. She was a speech pathologist for Brevard County Public Schools before she was a board member, and then she became.
Was she a good one?
I have no comment on that.
Okay.
But
just curious.
But she then she became a school board member, and while she was on the school board, she decided to sue the district over and over again for different frivolous issues that she's never won.
While she was on the school board.
While she was on the school board, never once winning any of her cases, so costing the taxpayers a lot of money doing these frivolous lawsuits. And now that she's off the school board, she wanted to go get a job from the district that she sued multiple times.
Is she trolling the district? Why did she want to work there?
I mean, there was a news article that came out that said that it had something to do with her getting her student loans paid off.
Oh,
so
wow.
Maybe that's something.
Oh, wow.
But who knows? I mean, she may want to go back to work now that she doesn't have a job anymore as a school board member. So
the district, she was turned down. She didn't make the cut. She's angry. Does she have a right to be?
I don't really know what she expects. I personally, I wouldn't sue my prospective employer over and over again and then expect for them to give me a job.
But there's some question as to whether she made some comments about speech pathology, and she believed that masking kids or kids could actually engage in speech pathology well while masked. Is
Yes.
that correct?
She said that on the dais during the whole masking debacle during COVID. And she said that the kids and the speech pathologist could do their therapy while wearing a mask.
Okay. So what do you think is going to happen here? Do you think that she has a case?
Personally, my humble opinion, I don't think she has a case, but we'll see what happens. But it's it's definitely interesting. Never a dull moment with her.
Right. Another Jennifer Jenkins sighting. Hopefully, this is the last one. So we had another county commission meeting recently, and our commissioner, Katie Delaney, the commissioner of District 1, was there. A lot of things going on, particularly with the firefighters. We are at a critical point with the firefighters. What did you find out?
So there's some new developments. We're working on a pathway forward so that we can get back to the table with our firefighters to get back on the negotiation pathway. And we actually have a workshop January 30th that the public can come to at 1:00 at the commission building. And there we'd really like to get some feedback from the public and the firefighters and all the stakeholders, because we're going to have to make some tough decisions. We're going to have to look at the fire assessment. We're going to have to look at the MSTU. We're going to have to look at our general fund. Where are we going to pull money from to get our firefighters a reasonable wage?
Has this workshop happened before?
Not directly for the firefighters.
So how did this come about?
So I actually requested it from my commissioners,
Okay.
and luckily they agreed, 5-0 vote, to come to the table and talk about this issue.
So this is huge.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So there is some movement now. Now, with people weighing in, you think that will actually move the ball forward?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
because I think that if the other commissioners get to hear from the public as well about what people are willing to do as far as their taxes, or maybe there's some services that they would be willing to give up to better fund the fire department. We have to be creative here because there's not endless money, unfortunately.
So then when you talk about the budget, again, I mean, have we found out where the money that is earmarked for the firefighters, where is that money going now? Do we know that?
So the money is going to the firefighters. There's just not enough.
Okay. So then there may be some increases that are necessary in order to be able to take care of this issue.
Possibly. And some money from the general fund will be able to be redispersed.
Okay. Anything else on the county commission that you?
Yes. So we, our Parks and Recs director, Mary Ellen Donner, she just retired. So that was a happy and sad event. She was a great director. And now we have Ian Golden. He was the previous Housing and Human Services director, and he's now moved into the Parks and Rec director position.
And that's a big position, particularly in terms of summer events and things of that nature. I mean, is that person that is coming in, do they have any idea about how they're going to work with the Parks and Recreations and the communities to have events for the public?
Well, Ian, the cool thing about him is that he's had a lot of background in working with children.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that'll bring something really good to the Parks and Rec department. As far as actual parks maintenance and things like that, I'm not sure how much experience he has in that. But as far as the programs that can be offered and whatnot, I think that he's going to be really good for that.
Good.
And Juanita Jackson, she's going to be our new Housing and Human Services director. She was the deputy director, and now she's going to move up to the director position.
So tell us, what is the Housing and Human Services, and what do they do?
So basically, they do any kind of services when people are in need. So maybe there's an elderly person who can't afford renovations on their home that has to do with welfare. Mm-hmm. Like a very bad roof leak, or they can't pay their electric bill or something like that. There are services that the county provides and funds that the county gets, a lot of them from federal grants. Mm-hmm. That the county can use to help people in the community.
Okay. Anything else?
So yes, there's the Renaissance Fair. They just got their Strawberry Fest approved for this year, so that's going to be really fun. And we also have our Speak Up Brevard program starting January 1st through the 31st, and that is where citizens can.
That's going to be fun.
Oh yeah.
Right? So you can come and you have things that you want to propose, right, to be put into the county direction, right? And so anybody can propose whatever, right?
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
And the cool thing is that the staff and the staff actually has to give a recommendation on your request or
So
proposal.
they're not just going to pigeonhole it. I mean, they're going to actually look at this.
Right, they have
Okay.
to.
All right.
So, and one thing that I proposed that I haven't gotten total buy-in yet about was I want to do a workshop for this issue, and if I don't get buy-in from my commissioners, I'll end up holding one of my own.
Mhm.
But I think that it's really important that we give people the opportunity to tell us more about their proposals rather than what they just write down on a piece of paper.
And you have an issue on zoning as well.
Yes. So we have some really cool things coming to Brevard. One of the things is there's a new Top Golf coming to Viera, and I'm really excited about that. And
Miniature golf, right?
Yeah.
And dinner, right?
Absolutely.
So you can go and play miniature golf, and then whoever loses can pay for the dinner. Is that what it is?
So it's actually like, I don't know if you've ever been to Top Golf, but it's way more than miniature golf. It's like a 4-story building, and it's all open air. It's such a cool environment. And the service is usually really good. The food is really good. So I'm really excited for that to come. And a development on North Merritt Island was stopped. It's a vacant piece of land right now that's zoned commercial, and the person wanted to change the zoning to get 9 townhomes on it. But the problem is that area floods a lot. And so thankfully the commission voted that down. So that's not going to be happening, which is
Making
great.
some progress on that front, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, that's the issue, is that, again, there's not a fight against a person having property building on it. But if you have to go into a neighborhood and get the variances that they're asking for, something's wrong, right? Because those neighborhoods were not made for that. Would that be correct?
Absolutely.
And would you say that that's what happened in this situation?
For sure.
Okay. All right. Anything else?
No, that's about it.
And that's your report from the commish. I want to give a kudos to the Brevard Public Schools, elementary schools, who actually sent videos out this week to the troops over in Turkey.
Happy holidays, heroes. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your day. Happy holidays. Wish you a Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. A Merry Christmas. Thank you for your service. Merry Christmas, soldiers overseas. Happy New Year.
And to be able to have the kids who have the presence of mind to think about the troops who are overseas, that was wonderful. And kudos to the elementary schools who participated in this. Kudos to all the volunteers for all of the Christmas parades. They're always great to be participants in. And I know that the Titusville Christmas parade is one of the best around. Kudos to all of those who volunteered to make this a wonderful event for 2024. My best Christmas memory was not a great one at the time that it occurred. You know, it's funny how that happens. Perspective can change your view of a lot of things. The Christmas I had in mind was one in which I received nothing for Christmas, absolutely nothing. It wasn't because that I was bad. It was because of the fact that my parents could not afford to buy us anything. And so that happens, you know, in a big family, which ours was, there were 16 kids, we were forced to appreciate the simpler things in life. I didn't learn until later on in life that the thread count in sheets really made a difference when you were sleeping. Neither did I get to experience the smell of a new car smell. I heard that was great. I heard about it a lot, but I never experienced it until later in life. But guess what? The absence of those things made me who I am today. Don't let anyone fool you. America is a very rich country. The poor in this country live at a higher standard of living than 70% of the rest of the people around the world. And you know, the thing that I learned from my best memory of Christmas, it was how to do without and to be content. The lesson, and that lesson has allowed me to focus on the real meaning of Christmas. And that's the incarnation of the Son of God into a human body, which is the real meaning of what Christmas is. And that's my 2 cents.